Oh, hello, hello, and welcome to another episode of Unruly Fashion. I'm your host, Noella. I don't know what episode number this is, but that's fine. And today I have a very, very special guest, my girl Alyaa. She's finally here. I'm actually so excited for this episode. Um, she's Alia is my like I was just telling her earlier, she's like my most educated friend and my most like I think she's my busiest friend, multi hyphenate. She's doing her MBA right now. She's a travel blogger. She's like a fashion photographer. She has her own clothing line. And she's my one friend who loves fashion just as much as I do, if not more. Because sometimes she'll send me a meme about fashion or like a fashion runway look, and I'm like, I haven't even seen that. So, but I love that, and I love that we can have this conversation today. So, welcome, Alia. Hey, girl, how you doing?
Hey Noella, I'm good. How are you? I miss you.
Good. I miss you too. You left me and you went to Vancouver for a man who's also your husband. But that's neither here nor there. I love
I'm
the
no
way.
longer a city girl, that's for sure.
Oh my God, the city girls have lost one, man. Pour out one for our girl Alia. But it's fine. It's okay. I might move to Vancouver with you. I'm so over the city. Like it's no, it's too much. I want to see the stars. I'm sure that your view is amazing in Vancouver. And it's like it's nice to be able to like do I mean, do you miss the city versus Vancouver? What's that like for you right now?
I miss some aspects of the city. I miss seeing people, more people out there, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely more like variety for shopping. We love our shopping, and here it's very, very limited what's on the island.
Yeah.
So I'm learning to find my go-to shops and my go-to places and all of
Yeah.
that. So there's a lot that still need to figure out. I love a lot about here. I definitely miss a lot about, my old
Yeah.
home, but it's fun either way.
Yeah, but I'm sure you love the space. You love to be able to like look up and see the stars, the nature. Like it's nice, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, I might take you up on this offer and
The
move to.
mountains in the backdrop.
Oh, you look like you're in a
You feel
picture
like you live
all
in
the
a
time.
painting of nature.
You look like you're in a like I see your pictures and I'm just like, wow, this is literally your backyard. I'm kind of jealous, but yeah. Okay, so let's jump right into it, girl. Tell me how's let's. I'm gonna start with Nubian Narrative because I can't wait. I know that it's kind of pressure on you because you just took a step back, but just tell us about it. How did it come about? What's it about?
Mhm.
And then more especially the fact that it incorporates tech into the clothing. That is my favorite thing about it. So just give you the floor. Tell me about Nubian Narrative.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you for that and starting with this. I mean, Nubian narrative for me has always been something I wanted to do. I just didn't know how to do it. Also, yeah, I love fashion, but it's not my career. I'm not a designer by any means. I never really considered myself to be an artist, but I knew I loved this space. I know that like I'm drawn to it. And I'm obviously very into my culture and learning myself, being like growing up in the diaspora far from Nubia. There's also something that drew it to me, and I wanted to bring it into my daily life. And what's something that I do every day is obviously put on some clothes and go out. So I wanted my culture and parts that I love about it and the language itself that we're trying to keep alive to be
Yeah.
part of my everyday. And the only way to see that was for me, obviously, was moment is clothes. Like I wear my clothes. I'm wearing one right now.
I
It
love it.
always I wanted to be part of me and part of my daily life. I feel because when you're removed from your environment where you're part of the diaspora, you're always seeking that connection. And for me, that connection was okay. I want to bring it into my daily life. I cannot live there anymore. Nobody lives there anymore.
Yeah.
It's very hard. I don't know if you know about Nubia, but Nubia is a part of south of Egypt and North Sudan. I know I rambled on about it before, but essentially that's where I'm from. This is where my ancestry is from. We've been internally displaced, and a
Yeah.
lot of Nubians have been spread around Egypt and Sudan, as well as all over the world, where most of our land right now is actually under the Nile. It's been flooded with the new projects that were happening, redirecting the water. It flooded all of our towns and villages, and it's leading us to lose our culture and our language. So for me, taking on level one and level two Nubian, trying to as part of trying to keep the language alive, I was like, okay, well, I want to incorporate them. I have nobody to speak the language with, so how can I have it in front of me day to day? So it started off with being okay. Well, I know clothes. I don't want to like design anything crazy about patterns. I want to really bring it into literally my day to day, and streetwear was a really good way to bring it into it. So I started with a few pieces to start, and I'm wearing one of them here.
Yeah.
It says Uru on it. One of my favorite words. Uru actually means kings or royalty.
Ooh.
Um, it's funny because I designed it initially as a men's piece, but then as I learned more about our history, I was like, well, women acted as kings too, and they had the same title. So I'm like, you know what? This is a unisex piece. This is not a men only piece. A
Oh,
woman can be king too in my culture. So yeah, I started doing some of like my favorite words and phrases that really stood out to me when I was learning the language and trying to incorporate it in my day to day. For me also, I feel like it acts as a reminder as to where I come from.
yeah.
So I combine little things that I like, obviously fashion and clothes, and like their day to day,
Yeah.
along with my language and my heritage, bring it in, and making it part of that. And then the third part is technology. I'm a tech geek. You're a tech geek. We talk about that all the time. And for me, like I was really obviously interested in augmented reality and I mean, we're in like a revolutionary period of AI right now.
We
But for
are.
me, augmented reality and leveraging AI and augmented reality was pretty cool concept a few years ago when I started
Yeah.
designing the pieces. So I've designed some pieces also to have AR in them, where you're not using AR to try on the clothes like all the companies were doing, but have a design that you can bring to life using augmented reality. And that's the idea of the two of the pieces,
Yeah.
bringing the kings and the queens of Nubia and ancient Egypt to life via
Yeah.
augmented reality. So yeah, hopefully you can check the
I
website and look at some of
I
the
love
pieces I
it.
designed.
Like I can't like I'm geeking out about this because the first time you showed me the pieces, especially the one with the the queen, a king, I guess, and her kid, and then you could scan it and then learn about it. I was like, no, when is that? Give me all of it.
Mhm.
Like I was so it's so good because I've always wondered or wanted to see fashion merge with tech in a way that's like you're learning something as opposed to it being like used as a tool. I want it to be like a part of the piece, and your collection, which inshallah is going to come out very soon. Now we can buy some, but I love and the website is fully e-commerce equipped, right? I could just go there and place an order and force you to make one for me. Yes.
Yes, actually, I do have pieces of the designs. I have not been promoting them because I'm looking to really launch this summer.
Yeah.
A hard part of being trying to do it all is that sometimes you have to take a step back and
Okay.
realize, okay, I don't have the capacity for that right now. And last year, when I intended to launch everything, I did not have the capacity. It was the middle of COVID. There was a lot going on. So I'm like, it's okay to put on hold right now because I know I'm still passionate. I know I'm going to come back to this and really work on it when I have more space in for it in my life. And I think that's really coming soon. I'm starting to work on some stuff.
Yeah.
I also went back to Nubia a few months ago. So for me, that was kind of, I was
Oh,
like, oh my God, like, no, I have to go back and really start working on this. Shot some material there as well. So I'm really looking forward to relaunching this summer.
I can't wait. Like I love like your wedding. Is speaking of like that's an excellent segue. Like your wedding, I just the pictures you just posted recently because I really wanted to be there because you said, oh, it was gonna you're gonna have the Nubian culture, and I was just like, I desperately wanted to be there, but you know how. You know what happened to me over the holidays. I decided that pneumonia was the best thing to do with my time. Anyway, so but like I love how much knowledge you were the first person to tell me that the most pyramids are in Sudan, not actually Egypt. And I was just like, I learned that information from you. It was so like I mean, like tell me because you're talking about travel at this point, like traveling back. So can you talk a little bit more about how you love travel and then how you incorporate the Nubian designs and the tradition into your wedding because beautiful girl. I'm not just saying that because you're my friend. I kept staring. I was like, that's my friend. Isn't she pretty? Yeah.
Oh, you're so cute. Well, you know how much I love travel. Like in my 20s, all I did was spend every penny I could have on travel. I used all my sick days on travel. For me, it was more like curiosity than anything. I really wanted to see, and every time I went somewhere, I feel like a part of me fundamentally changed in the sense that I was able to connect with people that maybe I didn't really know much about before. The history of places that I went to for me
Yeah.
was really, really exciting. Just yeah, randomly, I felt comfortable enough that I can get randomly lost in some places like Colombia or like China and just interact with people. And I feel like that fundamentally changed me. And also, it led me to want to know more about where I came from.
Yeah.
Because when I grew up, even though I was in Egypt, I was in Alexandria. I was very, very far from Nubia. I
Yeah.
really didn't know about it much. I knew we had a language, but I never really spoke it because we don't really speak it at home.
Hmm.
So it's interesting because exploring going out in the world wanted me to explore internally and my culture more. So I went back and started to visit and ask about my, my language and taking some courses in it. So it kind of all tied in together. And for me, you'll see that was all my ventures. It's not like I'm trying to pick one thing and sticking to it. I'm
Yeah.
just following my curiosity about the things that really, make me curious and kind of attracts me, or have like that gut feeling that, hey, I want to really try this. I know I'm not the best travel blogger. I'm not a full-time blogger, but I'll travel as much as I want because I know that it's fueling me as a person.
Yeah.
um so that's what I did. The same thing with Nubian narratives. Okay, I'm not the best person to advocate for Nubia, really,
Yeah.
but I know what I know, and also I want to take people on that journey of discovery and learning with me.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's essentially everything I do. It's finding what I like and what attracts me, and kind of have that feeling in my gut that, what, this is really exciting. I want to kind of try it, and also me tying in all the different pieces that I like together: the
Yeah.
travel part, my heritage part, and fashion and my
Fashion.
everyday
Yeah.
expression, because that's what fashion really is, right? It's how you're expressing yourself with how you present.
Yeah. And then, I remember the travel blog was called Bint Batu. I don't know if I pronounced it well. Bint means daughter, right? Batuta was this
Daughter,
traveling.
yeah.
Yeah, so I want to talk about that even more because I remember when you started that blog, I was like, oh my god, finally
Yeah.
a place where I can live vicariously through her, even if I can't go with her in all these places. Because I always wondered, where is she finding the time? But now that you've said that it was all your sick days, you know what, I want to be you because I love traveling too, but I never
Mhm.
actually like invested, and I wish that I spent more of my 20s traveling. But that's a conversation for another time because I think we've run out of time on this particular one. So we're gonna basically just segue into a
Mhm.
second part. This is gonna have to be a two-parter. I knew it. We have so much to talk about. But
Mhm.
I'm gonna like
Yeah.
quickly wrap this up, and then we'll just record the second episode. So that was Alia, my girl. I like love her. This was Alia's doing. We have to talk about this as well. This is a picture of like the first surprise that someone pulled off for me. Like people have attempted to surprise me before, and then someone like ruined it on purpose. But the first time someone pulled off actually surprising me, and I had no clue, and it's all because of you, Alia. Like you're, I don't know. I talk about you way too much. It's almost like I have a little crush on you because I love you. You're like my fave. But that was Alia. We'll talk more about Bimba Tuta in the next episode, and then we'll talk a bit more about your photography and then fashion in general. Let's talk about the runway because I'm so excited to see what your thoughts are and the things that have trickled down are. So for now, we'll wrap up this episode. You can catch us at Unruly Fashion Pod on Instagram as usual. At the Podpire Network on Instagram, at the Noella E on Instagram. Alia also has her handles. So at the real Alia, that's her personal one, which is so like your Instagram is so curated. Girl, I really do want to be like you when I grow up. Cause like, and then there's Vince Batuta, which is a travel blog, right, on Instagram. And then there's Nubian Narrative as well. And then
Yeah.
there's I don't know how to pronounce the photography. Is it Ashri? Ashri Studio?
Ashri is a Nubian word that means beautiful woman, but it's not just about outside beauty, it's about internal beauty. So I love that name so much, or that word. It's usually a girl's name in Nubia.
That's gorgeous. So that's the handle Ashri underscore studio for photography. And we've done a few shoots together, girl. Like you are so talented. Oh my God. And then, the giveaway is still on. Follow Unruly Fashion on all the other platforms at Unruly Fashion on TikTok, at Unruly X Fashion on Twitter. And, the Beyonce ticket is still at large if you're still interested. So yeah, we're going to segue into part two. I can't wait for you to hear way more about, Alia's travels and her photography and just fashion in general. So yeah, thank you for joining us on this episode and adios. See you on the next one.